Okay, here's the video I said I'd make, and I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can while providing as much information about it as possible. And there are two things I'm going to go over before going into this video. First, I don't care how stupid, silly, dumb, or idiotic anybody thinks the stuff I'm talking about in this video is. The bottom line here is the developers made this game and they need to explain it. End of discussion on that. That brings me to the second point. People need to stop taking after-the-fact knowledge and knowledge they gather afterward and applying it to these menus, which is a beforehand aspect. They also need to stop saying just because they know something that somebody else should too, and then using the excuse everybody else figured it out, so why can't you? Your opinion has no place in this. This is about what's written on these screens and what the developer told you. Somebody, regardless of whether or not they played these games or not, should be able to come into these menus, read what's here, make the educated decision that they need because all the information is there, go into the game and use it. Anybody who has to leave these menus or these screens for any reason to get a clarification on something means the game is programmed piss poor. And I'm not going to get into a debate about anything that I'm talking about in this video. What I'm talking about is not explained. Period. It needs to be fixed before the game is released. And anybody trying to say that this is alpha or beta or whatever else it is, doesn't matter. The developers of this did the same exact thing in the first one, so it's inexcusable. So there's a couple things I'm going to go over with this, and again, I'm not going to get into debates with people. Here it is in a nutshell. First, tooltips. The tooltips in this are instructing you how to play the game. Part of playing the game is using the interface. Therefore, if the developers gave a tooltip like this, then it's inexcusable for them to not tell the player or inform the player that by moving their mouse over something such as a talent, it displays the information. People trying to say, well, you should know how to do that. It can kiss my ass. The developers made this, they need to explain it. Secondly, if I click this and go here, this is an entire paragraph of a tooltip. It is inexcusable not to make a detailed tooltip because there is more than enough space on the screen for these tooltips. That is a paragraph. Do not say that there isn't enough space to provide or it's too hard. Next, if you're going to introduce a mechanic to a player, whether it's in an interface or in the game, then you explain the entire thing and you make them go through it and use it and then say that's the example on how you use this mechanic. Because if you cannot do that, do not introduce the mechanic to the player in the game yet. Or don't introduce the mechanic at all because it doesn't belong there. Such is the case with tags. There is no tooltip. I can't hover my mouse over this. Tag only has two definitions. Tag it research in 3rd grade, tag you're it, or attach a word to something and use a search function. This does not have a tooltip. This has no search function. Therefore, you're making me aware of this for what reason? I'm not going through this. I'm not using this. It doesn't belong here. If you're going to keep it here, explain it. If you're not going to explain it now and have a player use it or explain what it's used for, then remove it from the screen because it doesn't belong here. Next, we go to the music instruments. Somebody thought it would be a good idea to type what is here on the forum and then say it's explained. I got news for you. Take the lead in the soundtrack is a piss poor statement that only the developers mean. What the hell does that even mean, or what bearing does that have? That makes absolutely no sense and has no explanation. I don't care what people says. Nobody's going to be able to read this and understand what take the lead in the soundtrack means. Furthermore, if these instruments do important stuff in the story moments or whatever it is, which one do I take? Because clearly 4 of them means each one does a different thing. And if they don't, it needs to state that. This whole thing either needs to be explained or removed, just like tags. Next, we get into the talents here. Elegant gives you a +2 bonus in finesse. Ingenious rewards you with a +2 wits and 3% critical chance. First of all, why are they saying ingenious rewards you here, but elegant gifts you here? Use one damn word and keep the lore the hell out of the friggin' menus, if that's even what this is. Lore is important in the game if that's what you're using, but going overboard with it and putting it in a place that it has no bearing is moronic. It causes confusion. Elegant gives you a +2 bonus in finesse. Ingenious gives you a +2 wits and 3% critical chance. Simple, straightforward, to the point, easy to understand. Later on, if you want to get into the lore, then do it. Don't do it now when nobody has a clue to what the hell's going on. Now, furthermore, there is enough information to explain what the hell wits is here and finesse is here. I have no information about finesse or wits, so how do I know I even want to use them? And for those of you saying, go in the game. No, screw you. I want the information now on this screen. If they can tell me Elegant gifts me a +2 bonus in finesse, they sure as hell can put underneath this in a bigger tooltip. Finesse means this. Now, I'm going to go into the last and final thing. Saving throws. I am done explaining this to people. Saving throw means you are saving against whatever the hell is doing damage or attacking you. In this case, physical armor has been taken off somebody and you are getting beat with it. That's what that means. I do not give a rat's ass about Dungeons and Dragons or whatever other system in the history of RPG. It does not say this uses that. It says only on the screen you're making a save and throw against physical armor because physical armor can be used as a weapon in this game. That is exactly what that says. And if it doesn't mean that, guess what? Put a friggin' tooltip on there that states this uses other systems in the game. Then you can't argue with it. But I'm not going to sit and listen to people. Well, you know about D&D. This is not D&D. This is this. I don't care. And it does not say it uses the same system. So I'm not going to get into semantical debates. State what it means, mean what it says, say what you mean, and do not imply things. Period. This needs to be fixed. End of discussion. Thank you.